Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about an author that everyone is talking about now. This author has been around for more than a decade, at least since 2006 or something like that. But it seems that it was now discovered. And, well, discovered in terms of traditional publishing stuff. And I'm talking, of course, about Quantum or QNTM, which is in this book. This is the first book traditionally published, which is There Is No Anti-Semitics Division, and this is not his first book. Okay, he has several other books, and this is not even the first edition of the book itself. And what I mean by this, so before doing this, Quantum wrote under the CCP website several stories within. And after a while, and I saw some interviews by him, he wanted to write a novel. And he wrote a novel based on some of those that he put it there, in this case, this CCP specifically. And then he published this novel, and this novel was published in this version. Okay? And then now this was published, I believe, 2010, 2008, and then rewritten in 2015, then rewritten in 2021, and now rewritten again in 2026. And this is, well, the version that you know of, 2025. And this version is not identical to this one, okay? And what I mean identical is the book supposedly is the same, but the story within is different. And I mean different because I've read this one, and this one is different. So first of all, the contents are different. The information is different, the layout is different, and the story itself is different. Okay, the story itself is quite different. And mean by the chapters, I don't know. I have not read yet this novel here, so I can't tell you what's different. But from what I've been reading, the chapter, it's almost nothing to do with this one. So he rewritten this as well. That's why today you can't find this version in Amazon, for example. You cannot find because it was removed, and these ones are now sold for £80, more than £80 on eBay, for example. But this is not the first book. He wrote Head, okay, and this one, it's about Ed McPherson, and it's a short novel of 100 pages. It's like a novella. He has a bigger book which is called Ra. Okay, this one is bigger with 500 pages. All of them deal with scientific stuff mixed with, in this case, it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's magic, the appearance of magic. And then we have Defined Structure, okay, which is another book by him. These two I have not read because I purchased several years ago. I purchased everything by him, but then I read only two books. The other one I read was Valuable Humans in Transit, which was very interesting to read. It's a short story collection of well, sci-fi stories. Like there is like one I remember quite vividly. It's Weird Planet. There is a story about a self-driving car that decides the actions, and you've got the one I remember more is like a man which is trapped in a login stuff, and there is a bot there. There is one, it's blogging type, like a blog that's written as a blog, if you know what that is, so on. So this is not his first book. I will say that probably as he gained a lot of traction with his book, I would say that more of these are going to be probably rewritten. He has not written something since, well, I believe the last book, so as I said before, The Valuable was published in 2006. This one, again, this is the third version of the book, but for example, Ed, which is this book here, was in 2013. You've got Ra, which is 2014, and Fine Structure 2010. So he has written something in the last 5 or 6 years. Maybe he is trying to rewrite this. I remember reading this when I read the first edition. I remember he's going to read this and say, okay, now it's available, but tomorrow it's not going to be available. And this brings me to the next question, which is, what is the next self-published novelist that's going to be, well, traditional publish? Peter Cameron should be that person. He writes fantastic stories of sci-fi. He has like 30 books in it. All of them are +4 rating, tens of thousands of reviews. He's so well known in self-publishing industry, and I don't know how or why he doesn't really get a traditional published book. I would say probably he doesn't want, or maybe nobody grabs him, but he is undoubtedly one I would love to see a traditional published novel. I have all of his books, and as most people here on Goodreads or in there, well, there on Goodreads, they enjoyed a lot of these books. Everything is up 4 stars and with thousands of reviews. So yes, I would say that you can read this version. This one is a bit convoluted at times. I was a bit confused at times, but I was enjoying the story. But I've read, and at least from what I've read about this novel in the reviews, in YouTube and so on, I would say that this is a more refined, probably editor's version of this one. This one, it has no editor, so maybe it lacks something there. That's why he made 3 reviews at least in 2008, 2015, and 2020. And now in 2025 he rewrote the novel. So maybe that's it. Because this is, you can easily read this novel here in self-publishing novel, but I won't say this is the perfect way to do it. So yes, and grabbing this one in eBay now costs around 80 bucks. So you see that people, I mean, grab some self-publishment. There is some good out there. You've got this one. You've got in sci-fi. You've got a lot of self-publishing stuff. I don't know why, but it is there. I've already talked with you, Mark Clues or Joshua T. Calvert or Brandon Key Norris and so on. Those are good authors, and unfortunately they didn't stick with the traditional way. Maybe they don't want it, maybe they want it because they write a lot of stuff. I think that some of them, they lack because they don't have the money to have editors, but or at least they don't choose to have editors. But yeah, self-publishing is strong. That's my opinion, and that's what I want to tell you about in this video. Thank you all, and have a great day.